What's up?
Oh, hello.
What's
It's
up,
been so
Charlie?
long. Oh my God. When was the last time we met?
10 years ago.
I
Just
know,
about,
right? That's what it feels like.
right? With your globe trotting over here.
Oh my God.
I love it.
Mrs.
Worldwide.
Mrs. World. What's up, man? Mrs. Worldwide. I'm cracking up. How's it
Hi,
been?
Bev.
How's it been is it
Hey.
Charlie?
Yeah, Boston. That's where we moved. Yeah, I really like it here. This is like,
Okay.
I wanted to live here since I was 10. So I,
Aww.
yeah,
You,
I
were you
think
nervous
your
at first?
dad, like, y'all's dad loves it here. Like, I remember, I think I was on FaceTime with them. I don't know. He was like talking about like how it's so, and your mom was like, I don't like the big cities. And he was like, I love it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think he said he had been, but yeah, it's really, it's like so, it's like a really safe city too. Like it's big and there's lots to do, but it's like so safe. Like I feel totally cool just like walking by myself, like taking the subway. Like I
Mhm.
never feel, which is a big deal for me because I'm a very scared person.
No, I mean, I totally get it. And also as a woman, like you just want to make sure you're not moving into the city where you're like, okay. Because
Right.
Maine
Right.
looked pretty safe to me when like based on like what you posted. So like Boston's like, oh, that's like more of like a major city. So I wonder if it's gonna be more of a culture shock for her. But I'm glad that you're like loving it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. It's like it's fun here. Y'all should come visit.
Girl, literally. Oh my gosh. So how is everyone pretty much done with the book? I know I did not finish because I had a lot going on, but
Ooh, that's valid.
Oh my God, not me waking up from my nap. Okay, sorry. Oh, honey,
oh honey.
what a book.
Honey, baby.
I
Oh
know. Very excited, honestly. The book itself was a very interesting ending. Very much, I mean, I don't want to spoil, but like I kind of don't mind spoiling because I'm like girl power, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah,
Kill all men.
exactly. Kill them. They deserve nothing but hatred.
oh my god.
Okay, so are we talking about all of the book? Or are we just talking about part of it since some of us haven't finished?
Oh no, we're gonna go into it all.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Because I'm like, this
Literally.
definitely needs to be talked about. I don't even know, like, we can even like separate in different sections because there's a lot. We can go from like Lila's perspective to Demi's perspective to um just how the story kind of creates itself.
Yeah, I liked how they swapped back and forth. And I know that this story is not at all like the other story I'm about to say, but it was very reminiscent for me of the like the Blood of Olympus second Rick Riordan series after Percy Jackson because like it did like dual perspectives from all of them. But it
Oh,
helped you
Mm.
like I just love it when books do that because I can get such a better understanding for the character rather than trying to perceive them through another character's perception.
Mm.
exactly. Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean. Like you're like different POVs, basically, is what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Correct.
exactly, exactly.
Gotcha.
Oh my gosh, wait, Charlie, I saw your Instagram post. You rated the book a 2 out of 5?
It was okay.
What?
It was like 2.75.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't love it, but
Mhm.
but that's still more than like 50%. It's like a five, whatever out of 10, I think.
Mhm.
I think. But yeah.
Wait, is it 2 out of 5 or 2 out of 10?
No, 2.75 out of 5.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
okay.
Yeah, not 10, not 10.
Okay, then
Okay.
that's about the
I'm
same as
like,
what
damn,
I gave it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't. No. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was like,
It was
damn,
just,
that bad, huh?
yeah, no, it was
No.
not. Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't my favorite book that we've read, but it was definitely better than The Girls. I feel like that's what I always come back to when I'm like thinking, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
on a scale from The Girls to Evelyn Hugo, like, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's
That is
very
the perfect
valid.
description for this book club. Like, if you're gonna rate
Mhm.
a book, like that's literally it.
yeah.
So
That makes so much
bad.
sense. Yeah. Because I'm like, it wasn't as bad as the girls, but it wasn't Evelyn Hugo. Because Evelyn Hugo, let me tell you, that was a life
I
perspective. That was
haven't
like,
changed his
man,
background since Evelyn Hugo. That's how much I'm attached to this book.
exactly. I'm like,
That
Like
book, oh
Evelyn.
my God. It was like so much drama, but then like I made me sob and it was
right.
So good. Oh.
I didn't know a book could make me cry until I read Evelyn Hugo, and I was like, wow, she was.
You know that, you know, when people say like the book like ripped me apart and put me back together and all like the stupid sayings, like
It's definitely, it's
Yeah.
literally that book.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that was whoever that woman to this day. I can't wait till the movie comes out. So
and
sorry,
I just hate that Chastain is not playing fucking Celia.
like
I
they better get
know.
someone.
Give her the goddamn script, okay? Like get her
Fred,
the call it a day.
What y'all talking
me who has not read the book.
Evelyn Hugo.
Evelyn Hugo.
Because you know what's funny? That's probably, and I have to say this because there's the Evan Hugo, and then there's Evan Hardcastle. Let me tell you guys, Hardcastle.
Oh yeah.
It was hard.
It was a hard castle.
Yeah. I was like, maybe this is gonna be like Evelyn Hugo. I'm gonna be shocked. You know, Evelyn is in there. It's gonna be a bad bitch, you know. And then you read it and you're like, okay, okay.
Peter, David, Brandon, Skylar.
Penny,
the list goes on and on. Honestly.
right? The butler. Oh my god, girl.
The butler, the goddamn like Jesus Christ.
It was just
Yeah, that one was really hard to keep up with. I was doing that one on Audible, and I got so lost. I loved it because I felt like I was like, oh, it's challenging me to be smarter, but like it was so hard.
honestly, do you think
I was cussing that
sometimes-
book every chapter anyway.
I
I was gonna say, like, do you think sometimes as a writer, do you think it's hard for people to actually grasp like your audience to really keep them like I know that's like a part of a writer where it's like you have to keep the audience entertained. So in that book, the amount of characters, like I wonder how many characters is enough, you know, like obviously that one was too much.
Too
So,
much.
like,
Yeah.
I think the author got kind of carried away with his plot. Like him in his head, he was like, this makes sense. But I'm like, okay, normal human being. This
Right.
does not make sense. Because I think the author got carried away with the curves and the twists. Because at the end of the day, like, was it really that serious? Like you could have just told us it was gonna be goddamn Evelyn and her damn
Right.
parents.
right.
So as we start, does anyone want to give us a little bit of a rundown of how this book starts? And go ahead, Salia. I feel like you want to.
Okay. So as the book starts, we got introduced to Lila, which is the main character, and she is basically married into a family. I can't figure. I don't know the names. Yes, and this family in particular, they're freaking rich. Like they are generationally like rich. They have the money. They have the power to change politics. That's how rich they are. So then she gets introduced to them. She gets married into that family, not knowing the history behind the family and why they are so rich. So then supposedly within this family, since they have so much time, they decide to just really ruin people's lives. And so with that being said, Lila is basically put into a trial to see if she's even worthy of her position as
So main characters, Lila,
Graham, and
Demi,
Demi,
Margaret,
Graham's mom,
Margaret.
Margot, I think.
Michael.
Oh,
Yeah, Michael.
Yeah, I didn't think Michael would stay around as long as.
Literally at all.
that is
I
true.
know.
I can't wait to talk about that.
2-chapter kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michael was definitely giving, I don't know if y'all guys know this actor, and I can't remember what show he's in. He's always an extra, but it's like I don't know how to describe it. I need to like research the name of the guy and I'll show y'all. But that was a funny looking guy. But
That's a good description. Always an extra. Like that is what Michael's giving. Like
yes. I have to find the name. So yeah, so then after that, the next main character is Demi. Who
Well,
is
sort of.
actually
We never get her real name.
It's Helen.
Helen,
Oh,
yeah.
that's right. Wait, I thought that was just a fake identity that they came up with because
No,
she burned her ID.
Correct. So Helen, who actually is the real main character, she comes from the poor, like the poorest of the poor. And so she was given an opportunity to be rich and she took it. And that's literally just kind of like how the playing feels from like the first chapter to a couple to the middle actually like, gets there. And so just throughout the entire situation, can I just say, your all guys' point of view of Lila's, would you say that was she a little bit too, did she actually live up to becoming the woman of the house? Like, do you think she still has that kind of energy from the beginning to the middle when she's with Graham?
Like their definition, like by
Right.
the standard.
Mm-hmm. Like, do you actually think she would actually kill someone to be a part of that family? Genuinely speaking.
I think
After-
her build up in general, like how she met, Graham, right? Graham.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, she's gonna probably kill someone, like because of how like she just was like, fuck it, like I'm gonna do whatever it takes. Like she was already psycho, like just how she like pulled in, fucking hit his car, and I was like, it was giving,
Yeah.
right, it was giving a fucking a simple favor kind of energy with like.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh, she's gonna kill. But anyways, continue. That's my thought.
Yeah, no. Honestly, the reason why I asked that question was because there's a point in the book where like you understand her thought process throughout her entire like time of being in that house. And like you wouldn't feel sorry for her, but at the same time, you're just like, girl, you kind of did this yourself.
Yeah, like you don't feel bad for Lila because she's kind of a shitty person too. Like,
She's just a lesser.
so it's like, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like it feels like she doesn't have any control of her life, like whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like it's the internal stuff, like she's crazy. And then the external stuff, like her husband and her mother-in-law's like I bad for her, yeah. And like she was really funny too. But yeah, she's fucked up.
Yeah, dude.
She was
I
fucked
think-
up. That's
yeah.
why I was like thinking, yeah, she could be, she can be converted.
I don't know, but Graham is also pretty fucked up. Like he fell in love with two girls that are just kind of crazy, you
Yeah.
know?
Bored.
I think he's the gasoline to the fire, because he was just like igniting her thoughts. Girl, hold on. And then that one part where he was like, I'll fuck you if you kill her. I said, word?
Right.
I said, that was the last sentence of the chapter. I said, word? Sounds
They were
like
toxic as shit.
What did you guys, I have a question. What did you guys think at the very beginning when he would go off to his like golf tournaments or whatever? Like
I thought he was gay.
that.
Well, when you figure out what they are, it completely changed the dynamic of who you think Graham really is. Like he becomes a whole different character in my mind with that one, like explaining what his golf stories are. They think he's like above it evil, and no, you're in it evil.
Could you elaborate on that?
Well, so like when you hear Graham in the story, right? He's controlling, right? He's above. He doesn't want to get his hands dirty. He wants to manipulate situations where you lose. He always seems like he doesn't really want to hurt bad people. Like he wants to crush them with his money. But then when you figure out what his golf story really is, like he's beating people probably to death in the streets, you're like, oh, you're just like an everyday psycho. Like you're nothing special. You're everyday evil. You're not elevated evil. You're just evil.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it the thought? I think the reason why he had sex with Demi is because he found out like that she killed the original Demi, and so for him, he's like, "Wow, that's so sexy," and it's like you're psycho. You know what I mean? Like,
It's like he can't feel anything else.
right?
Like it something so over the top that like piques his interest and nothing else does. It's
What
fucked
did
up.
He's like numb.
So
like,
disturbing to read.
Evil.
Like was so disturbing. Like I was like, this book is so disturbing. Like just
Yeah.
him and his I was just, yeah, it was a lot for
Do
me.
y'all remember that scene when Michael passed and he told something to like Demi? He said something like that feeling. What did he say?
That like weird feeling.
That weird feeling. But he said it such a like a nonchalant way, like the feeling of like when someone personal dies and close to you and you're just not supposed to feel sorrow and all of these. He's like, it'll go away. I was like, oh.
I think he's
Michael
a
wasn't a good
psychopath and he doesn't know how to describe empathy.
But
So it's
do
like,
you
oh,
think
that empathy like feeling, that'll be gone soon.
do you
Yeah.
guys think that he's an actual like psychopath, or it's kind of like it was ingrained in him?
full on.
His mother's a psychopath.
Yes, Meryl, like you said, I think it's that because remember the mom was saying like talking so highly of him at one chapter, saying he's like a prince or something or like a king, and
It was
I was
very
like, wow,
Mhm,
okay.
mhm. Yeah, no, that's very valid actually that you bring up that part, because I think the mom raising him actually, okay. Yes, I do think that's another part, because the mom was putting him on a pedestal so high to the point where like she was basically sniffing his asshole and he was just like, I make the best shit of my life.
It was weird.
Yeah, it was odd.
Wow, Andre.
Sorry, I'd like to cut off the work.
No, she's saying that you're here. Like that's what she's saying. Wow.
I do think though, Graham has his backstory, reading that and him just like Margot explaining how Graham was always like, oh, I want to be poor. I'm sick of being rich. I'm tired of sleeping in my nice bed. I want to be outside with the poor people. And I was so I was just like, wow, I'm being cussed out in this fucking book. I'm like, oh wow. He's literally calling me out like, oh fuck. Because I was just like, I think that's why his character, like, he had to be like a bad character in order to really understand the different types of bad between each person. Because Lila, that wasn't her. She actually had some form of empathy from the past experiences, but then Graham was just I don't know. His character, I just wanted to choke his ass out. I was like, because he was just so he bodied the character, don't get me wrong, but I think the more that we realize that Graham literally had no other reason to be in the book but to just spew hatred, actually just like made me I wanted to see the ending. I was like, I really wonder if he's really gonna live out of this.
Yeah.
And like I think the silver lining, what's interesting is that I don't know if y'all guys read very deep into the details, but I remember in the beginning how Lila was describing Graham's mom's place and how it was so grand, and she would have like different types of flowers, and there was just one flower in particular that's actually, I looked up the flower, which is really odd. I looked at the flower and it was like, oh, this flower is like super deadly, super poisonous to humans. If it's consumed or even touched by humans, like it's, toxic. And I was like, interesting.
Right.
Like, I might need this in the end.
Oh my God.
And I didn't even know, I didn't realize it, but like, I don't know, did y'all guys catch that like in the beginning? Because I had a feeling that was going to happen to him. I was like,
so for the people that like haven't finished, so also actually before we get into it, do you guys can y'all picture which actors could play Lila, Graham, the mother?
Yes, at least like one of them. I don't know if it's because they're both like rich characters, but I can picture the guy who, I never watched the movie 50 Shades of Grey, but the guy who plays Mr. Grey or whatever, he's Graham to me. That's who I picture his face as. He also plays the sheriff like the first season of Once Upon a Time, if y'all remember that. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah.
That's the thing, though.
He is Graham to me. Like that is Graham.
Wow, that's a good one.
That thing that like the thing is that character, like when I pictured 50 Shades of Grey guy, like he doesn't look mysterious enough for I guess in my perspective to be Graham. There's a guy that's like close to Ian Somerhalder looking, but
Cat Bomber?
no, it's not Matt Bulmer. Just like one of the like the triplets that look like each other. Oh, I'm gonna find it and then I'm gonna pull up. But proceed.
Sal, didn't you say you thought it was gonna be that guy from Gossip? What's his name? There's that
Yeah.
vampire movie that came out where there's the vampire family.
Girl, it was like an old movie. For me, I thought Graham to me was if y'all guys seen Gossip Girl with the new one, his name is Max. That character, he played like a vampire in an old movie, and it was a really good movie. He was so attractive.
Do you guys think Graham is hot or is he just rich? Do you guys picture him as a hot guy?
He's just rich. And he has
Oh.
nice clothes and he smells good and he has a nice haircut, but
Yeah.
he's actually pretty ugly if you take all that away.
I picture him
Oh,
as
it's 'cause
being
when,
the kind of
Death
beautiful
Vibes.
that
like,
God
mommy,
is.
like I fucked your son and it was average. That was some clean shit. I'm like, hell yeah.
I know, she's like, I just fucked your son and it was strictly ordinary. Damn!
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think in my mind, I was thinking like young Henry Cavill, like this imposing, like domineering debutante, right? Like he looks like he's rich. He was always rich. But when I heard that line, I think how like Charlie said, I didn't know what he looked like anymore.
Yeah.
Is he just skinnier and he's not really that imposing? Does he just smell bad and it's not enticing?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know how like most jocks, like most like wait, what is that? Oh, most like frat jocks and stuff, like they kind of have to force themselves upon like females and stuff, even though like they're attractive and everything. So I don't think it necessarily has to do like the sex is bad because he's attractive or rich. The sex is just bad.
That's valid. I don't know
Because he
if
doesn't
that
have to work for anything.
Yeah, he's never had to work.
True.
So why would he have to work to please, you know?
Okay.
Right.
Fly a
And
period.
he thinks so highly of himself, he probably thinks that women just like get off from the sight of him. So he would never ever have to like actually put effort into that portion of the show.
Mm-hmm.
He finishes first.
It's an honor.
Oh, absolutely.
Completely, yeah. I honestly,
Plus, from the sound of it, he's like pretty out of practice. I mean, he hasn't fucked his wife in ages, sounding like.
I mean,
He doesn't feel anything.
it was giving like Jeffrey Dahmer vibes, you know, like that kind of
Oh,
weird.
what about Lila for actors?
Probably enough of the white love.
I got Anna Kendrick. I don't know why I think that. I don't know.
Y'all,
Mhm.
let's talk about how he was like not trying to have sex with Lila too. I mean, it makes sense when she said the inadequate thing, because he was like, if you do this, then like we'll have sex. And I'm like, what the actual act? What'd you sign up for?
Right. I think honestly, even if actually they never did, right? They never
Did
even
they?
No, they never did. Just him and Demi.
People.
I was wondering, like, was it always like this, like when they were like dating and they were engaged?
Right.
Like, did it switch at some point, or was it like
Yeah.
I was confused about that.
There's that part where he said that when they were fucking like on the restroom or something like that, and he noticed that she had like a tag still on. I guess like the excitement of that, like that's like, you know, the mystery of it all, like having sex with someone that's like kind of like,
Steals.
yeah, it what turned him on. But now that it's just kind of like average, like nothing.
Yeah, he was super boring. Like
Yeah,
everything
'cause
she.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I mean that was it. That was my point. I mean, like he I'm sorry. Am I talking with at the same time? Anyway, yeah, so he was like he kept calling her boring and like she was planning on like killing Demi and stuff. And it just makes me think that like it was like an exponential, like she had to keep up with him, like she had to keep doing crazier and crazier stuff to keep his attention, but he probably just like got tired of it and they stopped.
I can see that, like trying to basically like, I don't know, like neg her into being like, well, you still have to prove it to me. Like, bitch, I'm your wife. Like, why do I have to do all these things to like have sex with you? That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And then for the mother, Jaha.
Wait, for the actress, can I do Lila for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, so for Lila, I thought of Sarah Foster. You guys know who that is?
Sarah
I
Foster.
think.
Yeah, I think so. Why does that sound familiar?
Hold on, let me show you guys a picture. Ooh,
Is she the one from like the aging show, like where she's like supposed to play like this 20-something years old?
basic. I see this. What's happening? She's so
Really pop.
Oh, Sarah Foster, the
I
sister
can-
Foster sisters. Eric Foster's daughters.
Yeah.
Mm.
I can
Okay.
see that.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
But she's like a bitch. Like she was,
yeah,
she's a bitch.
yeah. She's always playing like a bitch, and so I'm like, damn, putting her in that category with him, I was like,
Who
yeah.
do you think that is, Sauce?
That's Lila. I
Lila.
think.
You
She's
remember
like,
90210 Bev, like Naomi's older sister?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, okay, so then the mom's kind of challenging. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I think so Glenn Close, who plays Cruella DeVille in like the live action Dummy, I feel like she would be a good
That she
fit.
has that like mean, like villain face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Be true. So
Ooh,
So to continue on the book, okay, so book it starts off like that. Now, for the ones that haven't seen it, whatever. Middle, like where is the climax? Where does it go? Y'all tell us. Like if you were to explain, like, oh my God, this is just where did the first twist happen? To where you're like, God damn, like this is crazy. Or was it always like a smooth?
Hmm.
I thought it
I
was really
think-
crazy when. Oh wait, some people haven't finished it, or
No, we're finished.
Mhm.
There's a
okay.
there's more finished than not finished, but you're good.
Okay, so when I found out that Demi wasn't Demi, like it was cutting this girl talking about like, I grew up poor and all that stuff, and then there was this lady who walked up and she was in like fine clothes and stuff. I was like, hold on, wait.
Mhm.
No way. And like that fucking blew my mind.
I
Yeah.
think that was my favorite part of the book, honestly, when
Mhm.
I'm like, who is this girl? Like, what is she talking about? Like, that
Yeah.
really shocked me. And then I also like after the fact, like once she like was dead and she was like in her house, it hit me at one point. I'm like, I don't even know who this girl is. Like, I'm listening to her now and she's Demi, but I'm like, I don't even know who she is. I think that was my favorite part.
Mm.
I think what also shocked me was when the original Demi wasn't dead and Michael ended up killing her too. I was like,
Jump scare.
wow. Okay, so she wasn't dead, but we just went to kill her. Okay, and then we're gonna continue on the story. But I think it made it fun. And then, I mean, just like we said earlier, like I was shocked that Michael made it to like literally the very end.
I'm telling you, I was like, this guy.
But what about him not making? What did you guys think of that? What made you think that he would not make it to the very end? Was he just like,
Just how he came about? I mean, he just was like, "Oh, you're in this house. Oh." He's like, "Well, let's just steal some shit." He's like, "Well, let me have a bath." Like, it was just very like it seemed like he was gonna be a quick, "Let me steal some shit and I'll let you do your whatever you found." But that's what I thought. It seemed like.
Well, it was like what Salia said about like it's giving like the guy who always is an extra, like that. It was like almost like this is a filler character.
Yes.
So it's like he's not going to be around long. He's just like filling the space.
he's gonna be another shock factor on like them just killing someone or something?
Right. But he ends up being the death too.
Well, if you think about it, the way that she met that rich girl, that's kind of what started her. Like, wasn't he there as well around the same time? So it would
He
make
was.
sense as to why he would have ended it.
He gave the rich, like the real Demi, the like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the heroin thing to overdose.
Yeah.
Literally. Essentially overdose, which I was like, this is not going to go well.
Her, damn.
Mhm.
Essentially overdose because she wasn't even dead. That's so crazy.
Girl, I was like,
People know what?
I was thinking about that part and I was like, why did they even include that? Like she was dead, now she's alive again and she's like immediately dead again.
right.
So why would they? And then I think that it's because it really showed just how committed, like Demi, I don't remember her real name, but just how committed
Ellen.
like yeah, how committed they were to like taking over her life, that it was just like, okay, well, she's alive, so you know, we have a second chance, but kill her off again because this is like we're going full speed ahead into this.
No, I know. We like when we were listening to it, we were like, okay, she's dead, and then we were like, she's alive.
I'm alive and I'm dead.
She's
Well,
dead.
I feel like also it kind of points to like the book is like good rich people. And so like I feel like it almost is like showing that it's like, you know, the saying like money is the root of all evil, like what happens when money is like in your grasp. And so it wasn't just the rich people who were like psychotic, but once they had the opportunity to like have money, and I think even more so, I think at that point, like whatever her name is, the not real Demi, the what her name is, Helen, she was like felt bad and was like, oh my God, I can't believe you killed her. But then you see as it progresses, the closer, like the more she gets close to money, like, you know, she sleeps with Graham and she like, you know, does all these things. Like it's almost like the money is like what's like tainting everything.
Yeah, did you guys get the vibe at the end? Like she was almost like, because she had the taste of like, wow, so you guys have all this money, but y'all are just like, it's almost like she realized like you guys have money, but you guys don't use it for good. You guys are still bad. It was like she was, and when she was playing the game, that's why it was like, bang, you guys are horrible people. Why do I need to be good? Bang, you know, she was like, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, so you got a taste of the fame and realized it's really not all that good on the other side too. You have to be a genuinely nice person at the end of the day, whether you have money or not.
Mm-hmm.
Is the idea of Demi coming back to life and then dying again so quickly, like the idea of like the real one, is it like when you're poor and you're not like generationally wealthy, the idea of it's like it could be taken away just that instantly, like if you're not careful?
That could be like a theory, a metaphor for it, you saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask this. Did y'all feel like it was too, I guess, fictional in a way? Because like
Yeah.
like money is very like, you know, greed and everything. But when I was reading it, I was kind of like, okay, but like it doesn't matter how much money you have. You can't do all of that, you know?
Well,
Like the feasibility of the actions that they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not gonna lie to
we
you.
don't know that.
Yeah.
Y'all know that movie that's like the woman gets married into the family and then they have to play a game and it's like basically hide and seek?
That's kind of what it felt like. The hiding seek with
That vibe.
Literally.
killers.
Mm-hmm.
Is it called hunting or what is it called?
Cindy, I think your book choice was literally like, it was like the dinner guest, kind of.
Your guess, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I know which one movie you're talking about. It's with Adam Brody, and he's like the husband, and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna kill you," and she's like, "I gotta go."
She's like, oh.
You know what? We really actually should have known that Michael was gonna stay when he was the one that killed Helen. Because it makes sense why. Because I think he was like, you know what? I'm gonna implant myself in here, and then I mean, it makes sense now. Now that I'm like, hold on. I mean, he did kill her.
You guys don't think that people that rich are capable of doing such inhumane things? Like, there's no repercussion for you. If you're so rich, you can change politics. Like, I genuinely feel like this could happen. Maybe not in this form, but I genuinely feel like there's things like that. Like, you know,
No. It can happen.
There's a documentary on Netflix about it. That one family in Texas where that girl died and they, you know, are hush hush about it. I mean, it happens.
Well, yeah.
But no, I think like, I mean, there's the whole Oprah Winfrey thing and how they thought like she was, you know, I don't remember what the island is called, but like,
oh, Epstein Island, she was the recruiter.
yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think that it's, I don't know if y'all can still hear me. I'm a little far away from my computer. I don't know, I guess I feel like it was just like excessive in a way.
I know what you mean, because that's kind of why I gave it a lower rating, was because I think with the too fictional being like I couldn't relate. Like I just like couldn't relate to the characters, and I couldn't relate because it was just like so like I have no clue. Like talking about these giant gardens and like I'm just like and then they were just like so like psychotic and mean, and I was just like I don't like any of you. And I like, you know, it's like I don't really care what happens to any of you because I'm just like over it.
Right.
I agree.
I'll die and it would be okay. And the world would be a better place.
Kelly, I
Yeah.
have a question for you. Was there a book where you essentially felt like you could relate that we've read? Because I feel like all the books that we've read is unrelatable.
I think
Oh,
Riley-
yeah. I feel like Evelyn Hugo, like I could relate. I
Relate to-
feel like
We
because it's
all
like
related.
7
even
Days
if
in June. That was a good one for us.
yeah, 70s in June. Even like the Burning Girls, like people have their issues, but it's like still it's like everybody has issues. But this book was on like these characters on like a whole they were in a different on a
Like they were
different
trying to find
planet.
issues.
I think what you're trying, I think what we all are trying to say too is like we didn't relate. But also, you didn't want to relate to any character, the
If you
poor or
relate,
the
you're
rich.
like a bad
Not
person.
that.
You think what, you know, my favorite character is Graham. I get him.
Right.
Well, no, not only that,
Right.
I think for me it was like even reading the book, because I had to speed read, y'all. I didn't get the book till what? 3 days ago, 4 days ago?
Damn, Andre.
Yeah, I have to, well, I love reading, so I had to speed read. And it was just like reading the book itself, the author, like props to her, she's very descriptive, but I still didn't understand the characters. So not only were they not relatable, there was no way for me to really, like Lila, no way for me to really understand who this bitch is, excuse my language, with all of the descriptors and it being like,
Differentiate her from the other characters is what you're saying?
well, yeah, differentiate.
We're like an
her-
internal monologue. You know how we like we like Joe from You because we're like we don't like him, but in the beginning you're like, wait, I kind of understand, but then you're like, no, you're fucking crazy. But there wasn't like an internal kind of like layer of the character. Like maybe they had a little more moral compass, but then it's ripped away and it's seen, you know, like that kind of thing.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't say I related, but like, you know, the part where she was in the beginning, she was like, you know, I married into this family. She doesn't get to choose her color. She was like, when I married Graham, I married his decisions. I'm not saying that like I relate because that's what happened, but I'm saying like I've seen a lot of relationships and marriages. So that I was like, okay, common. That is not surprising. I've seen that before and heard that before from whether if it's friends or just family or just even like people in the outside world. So that was the only time I was like, okay, relatable. But aside from that, everything else was like, yeah, I can't relate.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can even I definitely understand where y'all are coming from because none of these characters I would see myself in. I'd probably be, I don't know. Yeah, no.
Maybe like the humor aspect, but kind of like to fast forward it because like middle ground, like you know, you find the whole Helen thing is, you know, Demi Helen. So then for like the ending of it, right? So like how it ends.
So we know who kills Graham and how he dies.
So actually we even find out about the old maid, Elvira, and how she was best friends with Lila throughout her experience, and how Lila was kind of fruity. She kind of liked her a little bit too much, in my understanding. But what was interesting is the fact that Graham was the one playing the game at that time, and you would, you know, and at that time, honestly, I didn't even know how she died. Even in the beginning, that's really how the book started. Like that's literally like.
But wait, did Graham also have things with the older chick too? You know, because it made it seem like you liked her too, and I'm like, what's happening? Do you guys just fall in love with these tenants and maybe you just fucked it up this last one?
Right, because how fucked up did it get? Because I don't think they really went into like full detail. They just said like Graham and her were messing around, and then he had to kill her because like it's part of the game. But I was like, but the way Lila would talk about her compared to how Graham would talk about her, like Lila liked her a lot more. Like, you know, because she would always, you know, was saying, "Oh, my friend, my dear friend," or she would always Elvira, she would always refer to Liza as like a sister, like a friend, and like she would call her by her first name, not by her like maiden or like her married name, whatever. I don't know. Like that relationship was quite interesting because I was like, Lila, girl, I know Graham wasn't with you, but
But
like
isn't that also when she like started getting into the game a little like more
when she died or when she was alive?
when she died? When
Yeah.
Elveria, I don't know how to say her name, Elveria.
Elvira? Yeah, I think
Sarah. Oh my
Aloe
God.
vera, the plant.
right, Elvira. No,
Um,
I think
I know.
honestly, um,
So who killed Graham? Graham, sorry.
so the trick is,
Demi.
yes, it was Demi because she ends up, she ends up poisoning his food and he eats it and he's like, girl, your food is
With that flower.
yeah, with the flour.
And he was turned on while he was dying. It was
Literally.
I was
He's,
like,
like, going
I
down
cannot
the-
with this book. When he was like, oh my God, it's turning me on.
Yes,
Like, I was like,
Charlie.
leave me alone. I didn't want to. Like,
This shit. Like,
It's a
crazy.
Like, that's the last straw. I'm closing.
electric chair.
I know that was freaking
Yo, let
hilarious.
me know if did the maid or the house woman, like, did she have much impact on the story? Because at the beginning it made it seem like she was gonna have a lot of impact.
I know.
Not to be, but it wasn't really.
I think
Not
honestly,
really.
I think I love how smart enough she was. She's like, do you want to move in? She goes, no.
she kind of knew.
The very beginning, I was like, damn, she's street smart. She's like, I don't trust these people.
I think what's interesting, I was just gonna say how they made Demi, who was actually Helen, they try to make her relate to the audience. It's like, oh, I'm a poor girl, but now I got money, and now like I want to be good with my money, and so I want to do this and that. And there was that one scene in the book. It's really not really important, but I just saw the one scene that broke my heart was when she went shopping for herself for the first time ever in her life. She was like, I know I want a Chanel bag, it's black. And being seen by the public and not being like, she was like, she had internal monologue saying like, oh, back in the day, I would think like these people would hurt me because I'm poor. But now since I have all this money, like I still have that same mentality. Like, how could I rise from that mentality? And like, it was always a battle between her being poor and her gaining her richness from literally like, crazy stuff. And so I think the character development for her was very much so like it was very interesting, but I did feel really bad about, like, I felt bad for her because putting her in that situation, like she didn't have to do that. Like Michael really just ignited that and she had to be that character. So I was like, if Michael wasn't there, honestly, was Demi still would she even still be in the picture, So I don't know. I just always thought it was like, wow, her internal monologue really did shape the way, like, I think that's what the writer was trying to do, like trying to be like, oh, if you were put in this situation, you'd be like Demi, because like Demi's like, oh, I can't spend this. I need to save money. I'm just like, oh, girl, you got all the money in the world.
So y'all made a comment in the beginning. You said girl power.
Yes.
That goes in between. So they were plotting against Graham.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, to explain a little bit more, long story short, after she killed Graham, Lila goes to jail. She goes to prison for the murder of Michael.
Even though Demi's the one that shot him.
Yes.
Did he get shot or did he eat the flower?
No. Michael
Michael got
Michael's
shot.
mother. Sorry, I was thinking. Yeah, sorry. No, go ahead.
No, you're good. Yeah, so Michael got shot. Lila goes to jail for the murder of him. Then Demi visits Lila in jail, or I guess in prison, and she's like, yo, I killed your guy. Like, what you trying to do when you come out? She's like, I still want to be rich. So then they basically, like, I don't know what happens to Demi, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if y'all guys know what happened to her after Lila got out, but I just know.
I couldn't really figure it out either. They kind of left it really open-ended.
Yeah, so it's up to interpretation what she did, but she kind of just like left the house and the family, like Graham's family, under Lila's name, and she just like dipped. And then so the first chapter is explaining what happened in the in
At the end.
at the end, yes. So the body in the fucking fountain was actually Graham's body. So it wasn't Alvera's.
Gotcha.
Like, wow.
I guess that's a kind of a good twist, you know.
Yeah. And I was like, oh wow, very cool, very interesting ending. Very similar to another book that we read, but I can't remember which one.
Couple next door, maybe.
Probably that or the Burning Girls or something, or not the Burning, or
So I have a question. Since this book is kind of like a mystery, and Couples Next Door was also a mystery, how would y'all compare the two? Like mystery wise, like did y'all feel like you were when you got to the end of the book, you were like, oh my gosh? Because like since we did this book club a little bit differently, we weren't able to see what everybody thought was going to happen at the end of the book. So I guess, do y'all remember what you thought was going to happen at the beginning of the book?
I did. I think I kind of, it wasn't that hard to depict what was gonna happen, especially in this climate. I'm
I
like,
just feel like the book can't be like, you know, obviously good and rich people are bad and they end up winning because like then that's just real life, right?
I think Jordan and I had one time because remember there was this story about that like the first girl who died, didn't she have a sister and she kept calling the house? So Jordan and I thought that like the maid was really gonna be the sister and she was gonna try to avenge her sister's, you know, the first girl's death. But then it had nothing to do, and the maid was just like a side character. So that was one that I was like, oh, that would have been a good story if I went that way.
Wait, I thought the maid was the sister.
No, she
It
was.
is?
Yeah, she was. You were
Yeah,
right.
she
Yeah,
paid-
Beth.
Yeah, you were right. And Lila paid her off.
wait,
Okay.
so they
Yeah.
had two maids.
No, no, no.
Elvira was the first tenant.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the maid was her sister who was like pretending just
Who
to be
kept
like,
calling, remember?
yeah. And then she like kind of became the maid to kind of like solve her sister's death. And when it came up to it, she was able to be bribed. That was like another interesting point because it was like, okay, maybe this will be like someone who's like, this is the good person. And it was like, okay, fine. Yeah, I'll take the money. Like,
Yeah, like that too. It was just so dumb.
Then wait, what's Demi?
What do you mean?
Because that's where I was confused. I was like, so how many maids do they have, and were they just gonna kill all of them? I'm so
No,
confused.
Saul, you're getting it confused.
Okay.
Harley,
Demi,
say it.
yeah, they have like a guest house that basically is like they have like it's like a little rental apartment that they rent out to like other rich people that aren't quite as rich as them, and then they like mess with their lives. So like Elvira lived in that apartment and she was rich, and then they messed with her and killed her, and then their next tenant was Demi, and then I think her name was Astrid. Astrid was the maid, the one that wore like all the necklaces and like was a psychic. I don't think she really was. I think she was like pretending to be, but she was the actual maid.
Just trying to tell them, y'all ain't gonna kill my ass.
Yeah.
Summon a moo moo and see it before you do.
No. Oh, okay.
So I guess let's rate the book since from beginning, middle, and end. Obviously, you know Charlie's rating. But let's do out of 10. Huh?
I missed Charlotte's rating. What was it?
It's a
No,
5.
it was her Instagram rating because she doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh,
So let's go around and rate the book. You know, I'll start with like Meryl.
Okay,
Then you
so
can popcorn it, then we can give it an average.
what do you say? Oh, okay, gotcha. I would say I would maybe give it like out of 10, maybe give it a 6. I feel like I would have maybe enjoyed it a little bit more if, like you said, like can't really relate to any of this, like all of the things that they're going through. But I think that you are correct, Saya. Like it was very descriptive, like to where it showed you like their surroundings, the settings, but not enough in regards to like the characters. So yeah.
So popcorn.
Oh, okay.
Saul.
Okay. I would say honestly, I kind of like this book. It was really much so a refresher from the last one. I know Justin's not here, but like he's gonna say this and be like, oh my god. But like it's okay. I would have to say that because I'd give it like a honestly a 7. Why? Because reading this out loud and the dialogue, hilarious. Like take out like the best.
Person was good. Yeah, she was.
Yeah. Like they would have such funny like banter between like, you know, if they weren't talking about the killings or like if they were talking about it, they would just like not have that sort of feeling. Like it was very much so they stuck to the point. They made these very straightforward, you know, characters. And I would say the plot, I mean, like, you know, it was good. It was great. It was great. So I would give it like a 7 out of 10 for me. But yeah. Next, I would have to say Coco.
Mhm.
I think that I'm gonna give it a 6 because I think that it was written really well. But the ending just kind of happened to me. Like it was just like boom, like quick. And I mean, yeah, like the characters were interesting, but not like y'all said, relatable. It was a really fast book, and I learned some new words, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would read it again, so I'm just gonna give it a 6. Henri, you wanna go next?
I honestly did not like the book at all. Like, and I had such high hopes for this. I remember me and Bev were like, I don't know if I want to vote for yours. I really had high hopes for this book, and I feel like she's a great author. I read another one of her books, so like I was really hoping that this one was gonna be good, and it just disappointed me. The character development was just not the character development was there, but like I said, they just were not relatable in the slightest bit.
What did you
I'm
say your rating was?
Huh?
So your rating? Oh, you haven't said it yet?
Oh, I haven't. I was about to.
Okay, I was like,
I was gonna give it like a 4.
That being said.
Yeah. That being said, like I would say a 4 out of 10. Like I would not recommend this book which is probably my lowest rating for the book club, which is kind of crazy.
Which was that lower than the
Burning Girls or the girls?
The girls.
Oof.
And you didn't even read those.
True. I didn't read those. I didn't finish that. So I can't really rate those.
I know a lot of things, but not that.
Not that. I don't know. It was a fast read and I appreciated that, but it was just like, damn.
underwhelming.
It was very underwhelming. Like there was no mystery to it. There was no thriller to it. So it was like, girl, this is just a fictional book. I'm just
Okay. Next.
Liv.
Oh, hello.
You want us to see your background?
Fancy room.
Who's there?
Don't call me out.
Sickening.
See?
Right.
Empty bed.
Let me see the closet.
Okay.
No.
So let's see. You're slipping. Okay, anyways. I liked it a lot. I liked the writing a lot. I agree with Henri. I think the author did a really, really good job of authoring. But I liked especially the beginning. My favorite part of the book was the beginning when they were setting up Demi's character. For some reason, I just really, really enjoyed how in the nitty-gritty of the mindset of poverty the author really got instead of skipping over it. Like she really made a point to hone in on like the extremeness of her circumstances and how she was like the very, very, very bottom of the bottom, basically, and how for so long she had denied that she was just like in denial about it for so long. I don't know, for some reason I was like, she either grew up like that or she knew somebody who did, or she like talked to some people who did. Like you could tell that she took some time to get into the mindset and to understand, where folks who grow up like that are coming from. And it made me understand her, like it made me be able to like get behind her character's, horribleness a lot more than it would have been. All the other characters were difficult for me to get behind. Obviously Grand and Margot are no go. Lila, like, everybody's been manipulated to an extent. So like you can understand her from that standpoint, but other than that, yeah, not a ton of relatability. So I would give it a 6 out of 10 as well. I liked it, but like pretty much what I thought was gonna happen ended up happening, so I wasn't really surprised at a bunch of places.
That's good
Great
analysis.
Thank you, thank you. I actually have to skedaddle. I'm so sorry to have to leave early.
You're fine. We're about to close it and wrap it up. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Mwah! Thank you guys.
Bye.
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 Mine.
Oh shoot, yeah.
So I think Jordan said he's rating it 6.8, and I think I'm gonna rate mine a 6 as well, just because like the not being relatable. But I did like the writing, and I think it was a good pace. Like I don't think it got like slow. It was still always interesting, which I like. And then even though how it ended, I actually like it. The fact that like Lila is like doing the games, even if Graham's gone and Margaret's doing her thing, I think it just plays into the whole like, wow, no matter what, they're always gonna be shitty people. So I kind of was like, oh, I kind of like how it ends like that. I'm like, okay. So that's why I'm kind of like, I'm giving it a 6. I would recommend it for like a dumb stupid one, a dumb stupid book.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point, Stab, like you brought up. It's like it's almost like you when you do shitty things, you always blame it on other people. But now when the other people aren't there, it's like, wait, I'm actually
a shitty person.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because with that, because I had looked into it a little bit because I was like, okay, let me do a little research. And I saw like on, I don't remember what it was, but they were saying like with Alabera, like with her with her death, like it was the like kind of resembled the innocence of Lila. Also that. So I think like with everyone leaving and everything, it's kind of like, okay, well,
Nothing to live for, kind of.
yeah, there's nothing else to live for. I already have all the money in the world and I've already been doing it. I might as well just continue. I don't know. I always like to find like the symbolic like things in books. So
yeah.
And the book did have quite a few. So
it did, yeah.
I agree. I would give it probably like a 5 with what I've read and like what you guys filled me in on. The pace was already kind of like good taking off. But then and then the ending, like how it ended, I guess I would have thought it would have gone differently, but I don't know. I feel like I've seen a movie like this, so it's like the book felt like just reading you read this book, but you could watch a 1-hour movie and this could all be told, and there's no substance. It's like one of those, fucking, I don't know. So
actually, the book is usually better than the movie.
Yeah. But just knowing that like there wasn't any much like for me, you guys like said you couldn't relate. I think I like when movies show bad people, but you can kind of see their internal dialogue and then like feel like what they're feeling. Maybe they have some moral compasses and it peaks a little bit and they take it away. Like I like that in a book. And if you guys said that like you didn't feel any relatability there, that's where I'm like, author like work better on like building those characters because people get attached to characters. So that's maybe something I would have given as far as the criticism. But yeah. So this rating, can someone have a calculator? We're just gonna knock this out and then wrap it up. So we got 6.
We have 7.
We have a 7. We have a 6.8. We have a 6.
Is it 6 average?
We have Charlie was 5.
Mhm.
Coco, what was yours? Did you say 5 as well, or was it a 6?
6.
6.
Yeah.
And then
I have the numbers here. if you need them.
Oh,
So we have 6 plus 7 plus 6 plus 4 plus 6
Mhm.
plus 6.
Liv said 6.
someone said 6.8.
Jordan said 6.8, but I just put 6 because I'm like, it's a lot of math, but 6.8
Well, that rounds up to 7.
at that point. All right, fucking 7, and then 6, and then 6, or sorry, 5,
Okay.
and then
Divide that by
8.
Mm-hmm. 9, because Jordan is like.
yeah, are we doing that by Jordan as well?
Well, yeah, he's
Does-
at it. Yeah, I'm counting him in that. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And
Yeah. Yeah, so 9.
5.2.
Look at that. So
Cool.
then it makes sense, you know.
Average.
Average.
Mhm.
But just heads up,
Just
guys.
like the sex with Graham.
Oof.
Because look,
So just a little heads up, guys, putting a pause on book club for now, just because there's a lot of things, moving parts in personal lives, and it's just gonna be hard to like keep up with the book. We're still gonna keep the GM like there. I think we might even make it like a seasonal thing, but I haven't figured that what that it looks like now. But you know, just like during COVID, we were all more committed to like showing up and reading the book, but just things get kind of heavy. So we're gonna keep this book club like in a limbo until we figure out how we want to schedule it. But obviously, like if you have any good books that you're reading, that's kind of a channel for you to, you know, submit. Hey guys, I'm reading this book. Check it out. If you're bored or you don't have a book to read, like here you go. But we might do like make book club maybe a seasonal thing going forward, just so people have time to like be.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is fun, guys. Thanks for showing up.
Sounds good.
Thanks for chatting.
Thanks, you guys.
Makes me so sad.
I know.
I mean, it's the end of an era, but
Sad,
like
but relieved.
no, like can't relate. Actually, I'm removing myself from the DMs. Goodbye, good
It's like
riddance.
I've already removed myself.
Guys, no, seriously. I mean, Charlie, Honor, everyone. Like, if you guys are reading a book, like Jordan's a reader. If just throw it in the chat. If you're like, hey, I'm gonna read this book. Anyone who wants to read, there's just no pressure.
No
You know what
pressure,
I mean?
There's no due date
Yeah,
or anything
I
out
think
this
that's
stuff.
the biggest thing, just not having the pressure of, oh, I've got to finish this book or
Yeah,
Yes.
another book to buy.
exactly. Yeah, that part.
Do we
And
want to
stop
take
paying for Zoom.
celebratory shot
Yeah, this is gonna
Our last one.
be we do our shot.
or
Let's
what?
do
For a
that.
little bit at least.
Or
Okay.
wine, whatever water for the people that
season.
we'll do one last one, and then this will be the end of an era.
Wow, it's so crazy to see how many of us like
Actually stood.
at the end.
I know, like the OGs.
Charlie, you really stuck with us.
I know, right?
I know.
Literally.
I'm gonna cry.
Day one. Iconic.
Since day one, seriously.
Well, if another panty happens, you know where we are.
Exactly.
By the
If
way, I was still
Corona
there.
2020 part 2 happens, then we'll start this back up.
By the way, Charlie, how was your trip?
Oh my god, yeah.
Iceland.
Iceland?
It was good. I got sick, which really sucked, but
You did, and then you went to the hospital, and then I saw that. That was
I know. I was sick for like 4 days. It was like the sickest I've ever been. I think it was a near-death experience because I was like hallucinating. I like saw my dead grandparents, and it was really scary.
Girl.
But
You took some pictures. When did that happen?
it happened like the middle. So like the first 2 days I was fine, and the last day I was fine. But then in the middle I was sick.
Damn.
Yeah.
Sorry. Was this
Are you
this
sure someone didn't like sneak in like ayahuasca in your stuff?
Well, okay, so it's so gross. The doctor doesn't know how I got sick. I had a bacteria infection. She said that I'm probably got it from the hot springs, like the pool, like the natural, which is like so gross. I'm just like, oh my God. Because they don't have like chlorine and stuff. It's like self-cleaning. And so like if somebody else was like sick, and nobody else in my group got it. I don't know. I was like the chosen one, I guess. But
I'm glad you're better.
well, and like
Not
here,
bad about it was still fun and Good.
Yeah, it was when I wasn't sick, it was so beautiful. It was like a different planet. Like I was like, is this Earth? Like it's like crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool, actually.
Bittersweet.
I go to Iceland so bad. I just found out that I am part Scandinavian, so
Sickening.
Oh my god,
I
what
gotta
is
go
the
visit my
percentage?
people.
Wait, is it Iceland or is it Greenland?
It's
Iceland is like
Did you
the
see the Northern Lights? Is that where it is?
you didn't see
The northern lights are there, but in the summer the sun doesn't set. So the sun like it was literally it threw us off. I'd be like, oh, it's like 6 p.m. and it was midnight. And I was like, oh
yeah. The sun isn't it like 12?
2 hours of sunlight, and then like 6 hours just.
it was like 24 hours. Like it was
No.
like
get
yeah.
the science behind that.
Damn.
Like, doesn't
It
the
just
sun
affects
still
It like once it goes around, then it's dark pretty much all day.
Yeah, like in the winter, they have like almost like 24 hours of darkness. I could never. I was like, I
No,
would not.
we're all laughing.
Wow, the pressure must be high over there. But it's
just like the science behind that doesn't make sense. Like how is the sun skipping that part? Like doesn't it still revolve?
No, we just explained.
Or don't we revolve around it? I don't know, whatever.
Go on TikTok or Google it. So guys, the last shot, Beverly,
Just
you're-
take a video of this.
someone make a toast. Andre, make a toast.
Here is to the last book club of the season. To more to come for those that came and for those that stuck. Continue to read and have a good night.
Ooh.
Yes.
Good night, ladies and gents.
Oof.
All right. Love
Happy
you
Taco
guys.
Tuesday.
Damn,
Have
that
a
was
good night.
good.
That was good night, guys. Bye.
Bye.